Good evening, Fabulites. We're live at 12:20 Eastern Standard Time with another edition of Notes on the Newsfeed on channel Be Fabulous You. I'm Angela, and Notes on the Newsfeed is the segment where I read to you headlines from my newsfeed, my new newsfeed, and I share with you, if I have any thoughts to share with you, my thoughts about the headlines, my thoughts about the articles, my thoughts about the subject matter at large, my thoughts about maybe the paragraph just following the headline. Sometimes we don't have time to read the whole article or do extensive research, but we do try to keep in touch with what's going on in the world, right? So let us proceed. It's not news, it's just my notes on the news. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe now and consider being one of the 1,000, the first 1,000 subscribers. Yes, hurry up. Your opportunity might pass you by to be one of the 1,000, the first 1,000. If you are a subscriber, thank you so much. Welcome back. For those of you who it's not your first time checking out Notes on the Newsfeed or anything else on my channel, and welcome to those of you who are new. Yay! Fabulites. Let us proceed. China has a supermarket. Hi there. China has a supermarket unlike anything in the U.S., and it has two major advantages over Amazon Go. Now, I skimmed the article and I'm like, I'm going to remember the two things. The one thing is you can get fish and meat in the supermarket. So this is like these markets that they're trying to open here where you just go in, you don't have to deal with any people who work there, and your phone just checks out whatever it is that you purchase. So the two things that they have in China, and they have over 60 stores like that now. Is it China? Yep, in China. Alibaba, I think, is the company. The one thing is that you can pick up your seafood or your meat, I think maybe just seafood, and they'll cook it. A chef will cook it before you leave the store if you like that. And then the other thing they have is that you can have the food delivered to you within 30 minutes. So that's China doing technology a little different and maybe a step ahead in some ways of what we're doing over here. It's like a glimpse into the future. Are you excited? I told y'all before when we talked about this supermarket that I'm kind of suspicious. I don't want it to be some glitch where I go in the store and pick up a 79-cent package of tissue and then they're charging me $79, and then it's some mess and confusion trying to figure out. I'm like, I only got tissue. Well, our computer says that you got a $79. I like to be able to look a human in the eye and say, this is what I got. And you know that human being. I can't argue with, I can't look a computer in the eye and vibe what's going on. Egypt unveils 4,400-year-old tomb of ancient priestess. Philippines griped by dengue vaccine fears. Dengue, dang, I looked up how to pronounce the word, Dengue. So I think that there have been like 14 children that have died. Some people are theorizing that it's connected to the vaccine. The official word is that it's not connected to the vaccine, but people are not taking the vaccine. And so there's a concern that the dengue is dengue fever is gonna, escalate if people won't take the vaccine for it. And I saw something in the article about the World Health Organization. Winter Olympics. North Korea presses ahead with military parade. Usually they do their parade at another time of the year, but they say every country celebrates the founding of their military. That's just normal. They're doing it at this time of year. People in some parts of the world are theorizing that they're doing it at this time of the year so that the U.S. and the world can see how fearsome they are and how powerful they are, and that we can be afraid. They're saying we're just celebrating our military. Don't you celebrate your military every year on its birthday? I'm like, I don't even know when the birthday is of the military in the U.S., but I guess we have so many, we as in the U.S., which I guess indirectly I'm a part of, there are so many military bases throughout the world that demonstrate American military strength. I guess, you don't have to have a parade or whatever when you're the United States imperialist army, operating throughout the world. I guess people, that need to know already know, that you're powerful. Italy, Macerata drive-by attack. Foreigners targeted, say police. Now, from the headline, I didn't quite understand. I'm like, foreigners as in, like in the Middle East, there have been some things where some foreigners have been targeted, as in Europeaners, as in Westerners have been targeted, as in, white folks, kind of, sort of. But in this case, this was someone who was wrapped in an Italian flag, and he was targeting black and brown foreigners. Like, he was targeting people like me. And so he went around, I think that he shot 5 people. I don't know if anyone has made their transition yet. And I can't remember what he was saying, but it was something like, long live Italy, or like, and when he gave himself up, he gave the Nazi salute. It wasn't that, but it was something to sort of indicate that he's sort of like, the right wingers that we see here in the that he's kind of that mindset, like he killing the black and brown people to protect Italy. That's his theory. Amanda Seales exercises caution before answering if she's benefited from colorism. Now, I guess this is a controversial subject. To me, colorism is almost like racism. I don't even know what the controversy is. Of course, she's benefited from colorism. She's a light-skinned woman. In the hierarchy of the world, rich white men are at the top, and poor black female children are at the bottom. And, depending on where you are in the hierarchy, you have more opportunities. But, maybe that's just in my little worldview. It's obvious that, if you have a dark-skinned black woman and a light-skinned black woman in almost every context, not every single context, but in almost every context, all things being equal, the light-skinned woman is going to have preferential treatment. But I don't know. She exercised caution, and I think she said there has been some, I don't know. I think she sort of kind of admitted that she thinks she's benefited from privilege. And then also, sometimes when you're the beneficiary of privilege, you don't even realize you're the beneficiary of privilege. I always think about I have a Dominican woman that I used to work with. We used to be much closer than we are now. I haven't spoken to her in years, but she used to do some work with this woman in New York, and they both love coffee. Oh, this coffee is so great. Have you been to this place? Have you been to that place? Oh, the coffee is great. It's so wonderful. And then a coffee shop opened right across the street from where my friend, I'm gonna call her Lexi, where Lexi's friend lived. And so my friend, Lexi's friend was like, go to the coffee shop across the street. It's great. They have the best coffee. And so finally Lexi went to the coffee shop because her friend had been recommending it. And the people did not acknowledge Lexi. They did not serve Lexi. They did not want Lexi's money. They wanted Lexi to get out. Now, she is not as brown as I am, but she is someone who, if I saw her on the street, I think, oh, she's black. She's African American. She's black Dominican. And the people did not want to serve her. And she's a lovely woman, educated, articulate, friendly, pleasant. I can't imagine that, I don't know why they didn't want to serve her, but her theory was that Lexi's friend was white and she was black, and the white woman didn't even realize that she had the privilege of going into the store and getting this wonderful coffee and being served, being served, and, that someone else who's a different color may not. Just like when I had locks. I had the bougie locks, and people would always come up to me and be like, oh my gosh, your locks, your locks, your locks, your locks. Both of my husbands have had what I call Rasta locks, but just like where you let your hair lock. And people are some people are very hostile to people live. Oh my gosh. Thank you for the like, whoever you are. Until, people would be like, oh, your locks are nice. And then they'd be like, but I can't stand when people just have them big old nappy unkempt locks. And I'm like, why you so hostile? Why you so angry? Hi, Spencer Whitelow. Why you so hot? Why you so, but hi, thank you for 2 likes. Yay. It was like, I didn't understand because I had the bougie locks that there were some people who were very friendly to me who would be very hostile to my husbands. I did not know, so sometimes we have privilege and we don't even realize that we have privilege. Hi, OG Purple Johnson. So, Amanda Seales, acknowledged her, whatever, cautiously. You don't want to cause no trouble in the black community. A Gates Foundation backup started. a Gates Foundation-backed startup wants to make daily pills a thing of the past. So instead of having to worrying about taking your pill, I got to take a pill Monday, I got to take a pill Tuesday, I got to take a pill Wednesday, they just want to be like, oh, well, here's a thing where you just take it once a week or you take it once a month. I don't really know. So I'm not, you may or may not know this, but I'm not really much of a pill person or a drug person or a pharmaceutical person. I want us to drink more water and eat more whole fruits and eat more whole grains and whole foods and more natural and better foods so that we minimize the pills that we're taking. I don't want to make the taking of pills easy. And I'm very suspicious of the Gates Foundation because I believe that the Gates Foundation or someone associated with Bill Gates, it may not be called the Gates Foundation, but it's one of his arms, is over in other parts of the world trying to sell people selling people genetically modified seeds. Now, what happens with genetically modified seeds is that they don't reproduce themselves. So you get an apple, you get an apple and it has a seed in it. And when I had a garden, I was like, oh my gosh, when I started collecting seeds, like from one tomato, there are like 100, 300 seeds in there or whatever. It was so many seeds. And each seed could grow a plant that could grow a whole bunch of tomatoes. But if the seeds won't grow anything, then you have to keep going back to whoever to buy seeds every time you need food. So it makes you food dependent instead of food independent. And in Detroit, they have something called the Detroit Food Security Network. But this idea of food security, and like if you're reliant on someone else constantly for your food, it puts you in a very precarious situation. I mean, the most basic thing is you got to eat and drink, and if you can't even provide for your own eating and drinking, then if you're depending on someone else to feed you, you're in a delicate situation. And we are in a very delicate situation. So I always have a side eye for the Gates and what they're doing, because when I heard about that, I'm like, I'm not a fan of taking away people's independence, especially when people, supposedly you're over there helping people because they're in poverty. And you creating a situation that's more expensive for them. So why are you really over there? What are you really doing? Freestyle Digital Media acquires rights to romantic drama, 72 Hours, a Brooklyn love story. I don't know why I put that article. It's coming off the Griot, so I'm assuming some black and brown people are involved with it. Father of victims attacked disgraced doctor during court hearing. Now, y'all heard about this. This is the Larry Nasser case that went on right here in Michigan. So controlling people by food and chemicals, shaking my head. And then we participate in that control. My mother is like, when we're eating sugar and all of the crap that we've gotten in the habit of eating, it's like we're paying somebody to make us sick, which is really, really crazy. Or not crazy, but when you realize it, you're like, wait, I'm paying to get, like my cousin has diabetes. He's had his foot amputated here recently within the last year. And, when he was in the hospital for the amputation, he was asking us to bring him candy bars. And it's like, wow, it's just deep. We got to work on this hard. We have to help each other and help ourselves and do better with this. So Larry Nasser is the one who was dealing with the gym. 260 young women have come forward. 5 or 10 of them are Olympic level gymnasts. And, so he's been sentenced and by various courts, and there's various things that are going on. Like, I think he has another court hearing here still in Michigan in another jurisdiction. But here, the father, yesterday on the news, the father was like, hey, could I just get 5 minutes with, the doctor? And the judge is like, no, I can't give you 5 minutes with the doctor. And then he's like, well, could I just get, 1 minute with the doctor? Now, this is a man who had 3 daughters who saw this doctor who say that they were abused by this man. So they're like, no, we're not going to give you a minute with him. And so he jumped at the man. I guess he was trying to choke him out, kill him, he probably wanted to get hands on him. But so that, I know we probably all heard about that. I heard about that. But what I thought was interesting about this headline is that it said, father of victims attacked disgraced doctor. They're referring to him. I feel like if it was a black person, they'd be like, serial rapist. There would be the fact that they're maintaining and perpetuating in this headline this idea of him as a doctor, and they're framing him as a doctor. Miss Bella, chillax, relax yourself. it still has an element of respect, an element of distinction to it. It's like, even as bad as people are thinking about him and talking about him, he still has not been dehumanized or degraded in the way that I think that, sometimes when you see the reporting of how it's handled with Black people, it's different from that. Like, we are immediately characterized in a whole different light. So I just thought that piece of the headline was interesting. 9 women accused Taraji P. Henson manager Vincent Ciricione of sexual misconduct report. Now, this is a person who is, I think, has handled Halle Berry and is a gatekeeper for a lot of Black women in Hollywood. I'm not familiar with him. I think this is the second time that I've seen mention of this particular person since this whole Me Too campaign has come out. So I haven't really heard, I didn't read the articles. I haven't heard any any details. But I assume that if there are rich white women who are affected by this and have come forward, that there are a gazillion, Black women who have been affected by it and, for whatever reason have not come forward at this point. But yeah. Okay. Central African Republic, ex-militia leader wins top football post. So this is someone who, and it's hard to sort everything out, but this is someone who was, I don't know what you've heard, but I get the impression it's hard for me to understand these militias and things that are going on, like in parts of Africa where they're conscripting children to serve in these militias. They're cutting off people's arms and hands. They're hacking women's stomachs open to see if the baby is a boy or a girl, and then leaving the woman and the baby just laying on the street. Like, these just like wild and crazy animalistic like militias out here functioning. So I'm not clear, I don't know if it's that type of militia or if it's the type of militia where, people are fighting for freedom, people are fighting for dignity. And so you have to do that undercover. And is there really a difference? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it gets to be very confusing depending on who reports the story. These militia people can either be heroes or villains. But anyway, some people were like, well, he was a militia person. Why is he getting an official government post with soccer or football? I think it's football, but I think it's like what we would call soccer here. So I'm just keeping I'm trying to understand that and get a vibration on it. UK doctors plan country's first 3-person fertilization procedure. So this is going to be the first in the UK, but it's not the first in the world. There have been over 20 procedures where through science, someone has been born who has 3 parents. So the UK is doing their first procedure. So they put genes in from 3 different people and a person comes out. And it's just like, that's counterintuitive. I think of people as, you come from 2 people. How, now we're going to have people who come from 3 people? Welcome. I mean, I don't know. Wow. Okay. So short-haired Bachelor contestant Rebecca Martinez not missing after all. Now, I don't watch The Bachelor enough, but there's been this whole little thing. I shouldn't say enough. I watched like a piece of one season once 20 years ago. And I did listen to reviews of the last season because there was a Black woman Bachelor. But anyway, I guess that the contestants on The Bachelor are similar enough looking that there's one woman who has short hair, and it's been like, oh my gosh, someone on The Bachelor has short hair? I'm like, a lot of women in the world have short hair. Is that news? But apparently there's been so much, they're so homogenous the way that most of these women look that she really, really stands out. So she, I guess, got cast for The Bachelor. I don't know how it works, but her mother didn't even know where she was until she called her that night to say, I'm on The Bachelor. By then, I think her mother or someone was like, my child is missing, had filed a missing persons report. The police, when the mother, that back and forth, the mother was like, oh, my child is okay. The police are like, we need to talk to the child. We need to see the person now that they're missing. She's on the set of The Bachelor. They can't just use the phone and call and, so it's like getting through to her and all of of that. So she was like on a missing persons list. They showed in the article an image of her on a milk carton. I didn't know they did that with adults, but she wasn't missing. She was on The Bachelor, and I don't know how they don't let you tell anybody where you're going or what's going on. I guess they want to keep it secret, but yes, she wasn't missing. A 19-year-old who quit school to work at a $250 million startup says she was fired after complaining about objectification, marginalization, and harassment. How Kenyans are coping with the TV shutdown. The 3 major channels have been shut down because there's something going on where the person who was like elected, there's some dispute over who the official president is. So some channels were going to air the inauguration of the not as powerful president. And so those channels have been shut down. Those are the main channels. And so Kenya, how they're coping with the TV shutdown. I know when I stopped using cable, I had a dispute with my cable company. And when I stopped using cable, that's when I discovered YouTube for the first time. And like, there were all kinds of alternatives. And like some of the Kenyans, I'm like, I like getting information on demand. And TV has changed since then. But when I can watch things when I want to watch things and watch what I want to watch, more or less. Why #MeToo isn't taking off in West Africa. I didn't read the article, but I thought that was something interesting to research or to learn more about. I'd like to hear more. Anton Cropper to direct Gabrielle Union's Bad Boys offshoot NBC pilot. Gabby Union stay working, don't she? She done like being Mary Jane. I guess that's a wrap, and she's already got another project. I mean, that child stay working. Yay. And Bad Boys, that was like, weren't there 2 like comedians or something? I might have seen the movie, but it's going to be a TV show on NBC, I guess. Or it's going to be a pilot. We'll see if it becomes a show. American Gods hires new showrunner for season 2. So American Gods, if you haven't watched it, it's this excellent show. I reviewed season 1. They have a whole new showrunner. So there's some stuff going on behind the scenes that's like there's some shakeup going on, but we don't really know. They're not announcing what and why, but there is going to be a season 2. And I hope it's as good as season 1, because season 1 was really interesting. Have you watched American Gods? Martin Lawrence and Will Smith in Bad Boys. So are they going to be on the TV version? Yeah, so anyway, American Gods hires new showrunner. The Olympic Village, that's where the Olympians stay, will be stocked with 37 condoms per athlete. And it could be because of Tinder. Okay, you haven't heard about who's going to be on that TV show. So the people are on the Olympic Village. They're there for, I think, 2 weeks. They got 37 condoms. That's like 2.3 a day or something like that. Because 2 a day would be what? Oh, wait, let's see. 14, 28. Right. So that's more than 2 condoms a day. And because of Tinder, they say, I guess these are young, viral, strong, fit, healthy young people, and they figure they're going to be dipping it and doing it in the Olympic Village. Now, I think that they need to be focusing on competing. But I guess if you come early, if your event is early and you finish, I guess they figure you got the best physical specimens from all over the world mixing and mingling. 37 condoms per athlete? Good Lord. Pop media Lionsgate and CBS hit with sexual harassment suit. Adam Shankman tapped to direct Taraji P. Henson's What Men Want. Taraji P. is another one who stays working. What Men Want, I don't even know what that is. Temptations lead singer Dennis Edwards is dead at 74. Y'all probably already heard about that because that was yesterday. But all over my Facebook feed, people have, and my Twitter, I don't know, Be Fabulous You on Twitter, but people have been, there's been a lot of, hearing his music and just talking about him. This shop makes hundreds of different ice cream sandwiches. A New York City cheese shop sells customizable wedding cakes made entirely of cheese. I know Dennis Edwards, rest in peace, for his family and his community. And I guess his music touched people all over the world. And it's like, was he 78 years old, 74? I mean, that's not that old, but Yeah. I mean, it's not, I guess the older I get, the younger people look to me. I'm like 74. That's just like around the corner for me. What's he doing dying? And I don't know. I haven't read any articles, but I was like, what did he die of? And then somebody is like, well, sometimes musicians don't lead, the healthiest lives. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what he died of, but I mean, I guess, we all got to go, but yeah, rest in peace. And, just a beautiful legacy. May we all leave behind, a beautiful legacy and touch some lives while we're here. Now cheese. Look, I'm a little congested now. Cakes made and wedding cakes made entirely of cheese. I guess some people are not sweet people. They might be savory people. Like some people don't have a sweet tooth. They're not really into sweets. Most people, I think it's a small percentage. But who wants a wedding cake made of cheese? You? Ooh. New Magnum PI and Lacey likely to be diverse as broadcast networks eye most inclusive pilot leads ever. So Magnum PI, that was like a TV show that used to be on. They looking at having a black person in the lead. And Lacey, I think it was Cagney and Lacey. They looking at having a black Lacey. I think that's what the article is saying. Resist the Bot is ready to contact your senator when you tweet. So I've looped back around. We're a little bit over the targeted 20 minutes, but that's what I have for my notes on the news today. The memo, y'all have been following that. I guess if you're into all of the, the government political news, yeah. I saw on this is totally unrelated to like anything news related. I was trying to think of anything gossip, but I saw a video yesterday talking about, and I had seen this video. I can't remember whose channel it was, but it's a relatively big black YouTuber. But this is gossip about Married to Medicine. But it said that Dr. Jackie's husband, Fancy Car Curtis, had rented an apartment a while ago. So her theory is that he was like a serial cheater. Which wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I'm not saying that all athletes are cheaters, but I think, yeah, it wouldn't necessarily surprise me. I don't know. That's all I got. Anything exciting going on in the world that we missed? Anything exciting going on in your world? Huh? So that's it for this edition of New Notes on the News Feed. Thank you so much for joining live, for those of you who have joined live, and thank you for watching recorded or later for those of you who are watching recorded later. The channel is Be Fabulous You. Again, no news. The channel is Be Fabulous You. I'm Angela. Like, comment, subscribe, share. There's a movement. It's very exciting for me to see of small channels and people really supporting small channels. My channel certainly appreciates, support. I have heard from some people, pay me in likes. I'm not going to say you got to pay me in likes, but I do appreciate likes. I love comments. I love, sharing, subscriptions, all of that other stuff helps to build the channel, and it don't really cost you anything more than a couple of seconds. So if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, share. Today is the best day ever. Thank you for being here, Mr. Spencer. It's my pleasure to share the news. It's not really the news. It's not news. It's just my notes on the news. But today is the best day ever, and you are the greatest. So go out into the world and be you, be fabulous, be fabulous you. And Married to Medicine will be coming. I only got to watch part of it because my cousin came to visit, so I got to watch the rest of it. But the review will be up soon. Today is the best day ever. Go out and make it. Oh, how do I turn this off? It's a whole different system. Okay, I'm going to hit this X in the corner. Peace, y'all. Peace.